All right. So I'm gonna mute everybody here. Dun, dun, dun. In a moment. But I'm not really gonna do any talking tonight. I didn't want to have to plan. I got married on Saturday. Dan and I went out of town for a few days, and sometimes you don't need to hear from me. And this is a topic that Caitlin is really, really good at talking about. And so my friend Caitlin is going to talk to you guys about expanding your network outside of your friends and family. This is one that we get asked about all the time. So I want to make sure that you guys hear from someone other than me, because you hear from me all the time. So I'm going to spotlight Caitlin for everyone and give her the floor.
Good to see everybody. Thanks for having me tonight. I will probably talk for like 20-30 minutes, and then I can stick around for questions if anybody has any. But I have some notes on my phone, so if you see me looking at my phone, I'm not scrolling Facebook. I'm not bored by you. I'm just looking at my notes. If I don't have notes, I turn into a squirrel, and you won't get anything out of me. So can everybody hear me okay? My internet's kind of tweaking out. We good?
You're good.
Everything good? Okay, perfect. All right, so I actually shared this quote with my team today. So I'm going to start off with this quote from No Shame Sales Game. And if you don't follow No Shame Sales Game on Instagram, you should go do that right now, because she always is posting some fire. She's always posting really great stuff that not only can breathe life into you, but you can steal it and post to your team. And so you have things to post on your team page. But she posted, "Let's normalize your friends and family not being your first customers." And I'm going to also add, not being your first and not being your only customers. Okay. So what she said is, we risk setting new team members up for disappointment when we make it seem like we just need you to talk to your friends and family, boss babe. If you opened up a restaurant, would you only need or want your family and friends to eat there? Of course not. This business is not any different. Will some people's friends and family be their first customers and or teammates? Of course. But it's not uncommon for people's friends and family to be some of the last people to hop on board with their new business. And if they're set up to feel like those are the people who will kick off their success and then they don't, they often feel defeated and think, well, if my best friend and my family say no, everybody else will too. And then they quit. So let's start setting clearer and more realistic expectations. We can start with our family and friends to get comfortable, but do not attach expectation to any conversation that you have. And I loved that post from the other day, and I wanted to start out with that. We are in the business of networking because we are literally in a network marketing business. What that means is we really cannot rely only on our family and friends to grow a successful and thriving business, right? What it means to be in a network marketing business is we have to constantly be networking, which means we have to constantly be growing our circles. So I have done this a lot of times, actually, not only just when I started Scentsy, but I've moved with my business, I think, God, I lost count, 5 or 6 times. My husband was in the military, and we moved a lot. And then when we got out of the military, we moved to one state and decided that state wasn't it for right now. And then we moved to another state so that he could go to school. And we're probably going to move again in the next year. So every single new place that I go, I do have to keep the customers that I already have, but I also have to grow and expand my circle. And it's not always easy, especially right now during COVID. So if you're on the struggle bus right now, meeting new people because of the world that we're in at this moment, I am with you. It is very difficult right now to meet people and to grow your circle. So if you feel like you're struggling, you're not the only one. And I'm just here to tell you that. But I do have a couple, I wrote a couple things down to talk about how I have built my business from the ground up in every single state that we've moved to. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is something that I feel like people kind of sleep on because they're scared of it. But my business literally got started with a fundraiser. And if you can believe it, I was a kidnapper. So I joined Scentsy to not even do anything. My aunt actually basically forced me to join Scentsy for the most part. She forced me into hosting a party for her. Somehow I made enough host rewards to get some free and half off product. And of course I fell in love with the stuff. And then she calls me a week later and she's like, I know you're loving it. How about you join? And so she swindled me into joining. So I joined, but I threw that kit in the closet and I was literally never going to do anything with this business. I took the buddy out, I took the testers out, took the warmer and the wax out, and everything else went into the closet and I was never going to touch it. One of my friends was, she was pregnant and I think she was 7 or 8 months pregnant. She was about to have the baby. And they had struggled to get pregnant. They had infertility issues, but finally they had a pregnancy that stuck and everything was it seemed to be going great with this pregnancy. And I'll never forget, we were out one night to dinner, my husband and I got a text from her and she said, hey, we just had a 3D ultrasound and the doctors are like freaking out. They're medevacing me out of Hawaii. There's no doctors here to take care of Landon. He has something wrong with his heart. Long story short, he ended up passing in the womb and she gave birth to a stillborn. And I was super connected to this baby because I was young. I was 18, 19 years old. And this was like the first friendship pregnancy that I'd ever gotten to go through with a friend and first baby I ever felt kick. And so I was connected to this baby and I was really upset about it. So I called my aunt and because, we talked about things, not just Scentsy, and I was telling her that I was upset and I didn't know what to do. And she said, well, why don't you have a Facebook fundraiser? I'm like, you're speaking another language. I have no idea what you're talking about. And she said, well, set up a Facebook event, just like I did for your online party. And you have Kayla invite her friends. And if she's okay with it, obviously I got her permission. And you can post it on the local like military groups and let people know that you're raising money for her to pay for, funeral expenses and all that stuff. So long story short, I did. And we ended up making enough money to pay for some of the medical bills and some of the funeral costs. And it was amazing. And after that fundraiser, I actually had a friend from high school contact me on Facebook. I was home for Christmas. And she said, hey, I know you're home for Christmas. I want to join Scentsy's. Can you come over and walk me through joining Scentsy? Y'all, I tried to talk her out of joining Scentsy. I literally did. I was like, you can join my aunt. I don't know what I'm talking about. But she joined Scentsy. She was my first team member from that fundraiser. And then I actually had people from the local Facebook pages that I was sharing that fundraiser in that ordered contact me and say, hey, I saw what you did with that fundraiser and you did a really great job. And I love that you give back to your friends in the community. And I want to have a home party for you. And again, I tried to talk them out of doing a home party with me because I was scared and I didn't know what I was doing. But I did my first home party and I booked a home party from that home party. And then it literally just snowballed into 10 years later, I'm a superstar director. So I tell you all of that because fundraisers are a huge opportunity to meet new people and grow outside of your circle. Not only are fundraisers amazing because you get to give back to the community or somebody in your friends and family or somebody that your friends and family know, but you're connecting with people that you wouldn't have normally necessarily connected with. I say that fundraisers are something that people sit on, I think, because they're afraid of it. And I'm here to tell you that fundraisers are not scary. Just like my aunt told me whenever I did my first fundraiser, I think the only reason that I decided to tackle it was because she explained it to me so simply. A fundraiser is no different than a party. The only difference is you cut them a check at the end of the party for how much PRV they made. You can either donate the hostess rewards or give the hostess rewards as a gift, or you can keep your hostess rewards and help, and it'll help you build your stock up. That is how I have an insanely large stock behind me. I have never paid full price for Scentsy. I used all these fundraisers that I did when I was a fundraising queen when I first started Scentsy. And I would donate the cash from the party to the people. And then I would keep the hostess rewards for the stock. And whenever somebody ordered stock, I would just reorder it so that I had a revolving door of stock for events and home parties and all that jazz. So fundraisers are a great way to not only give back, but to meet people outside of your circle. You're going to treat these people as your customers. So you're going to regularly follow up with them. You're going to package their fundraising order up nicely if it comes to you. You're going to take care of them just like you would a customer, and hopefully they will become your customer, which leads to other fundraisers, parties, events, recruits, and all of that exciting stuff. So don't let fundraisers scare you. That is literally the way my business started. And that is literally the way that my business grew from the very beginning, was people saw that I was giving back to my community and they loved it. So my first tip would be fundraisers. Where do you find fundraisers? Watch on Facebook for your friends and family to be posting that they're either doing a school fundraiser or their kids have started sports and they need money for uniforms and all that. Watch for friends or family that need help with tragedies and medical bills. I have had people tell me no before, and that's okay. I always reach out to them first. You don't ever want to do a fundraiser without asking first, right? So I reach out to them and just say, hey guys, my business, gives me the opportunity to give back. I would love to set up an online link for you, and you can just share it with your friends and family, and I will donate all of my commission to your cause. You can call. I've done really good fundraisers for animal shelters in the area. Those have been awesome for me. So you can call local animal shelters and see if they need fundraisers. Same thing, you just give them a link and they can share it on their Facebook page. And that normally turns into a really good fundraiser. Sororities and fraternities, schools. I mean, the opportunities are endless. You just have to ask, and it is a little bit scary, and you can be told no, but if you're not hearing no, you're not doing your business correctly, right? So fundraisers, that's my first huge tip to growing outside of your circle. The next thing, obviously, parties. Maybe you think home parties are dead. They're not. But there is not just one type of party. There's millions of types of parties. There's basket parties. There's text parties. There's home parties. There's Zoom parties. There's just literally a million ways to party. Facebook parties. All kinds of ways to party, right? Parties are a great way to grow your circle because, again, if you're doing it correctly, you're booking parties from those parties and you're using the circle that so your friends, family, or customers that you have now, to branch out into their river of friends, right? So I look at my customers as it's a river, and they branch off into these little creeks and areas. And so, you've got this river of your customers, and each customer is its own creek. Well, then you follow that creek, and they have tons of little creeks and little things that branch off from their bed of water that lead into other rivers and maybe even an ocean of possibilities. So if you're doing your parties right and booking parties from parties, then you're going to be meeting new people constantly and consistently. So partying consistently is my second tip. Doesn't matter how you party, just make sure that you're partying all the time. 3, events. Events are huge. Even if you don't have a ton of stock, that's literally completely fine. I tell my team all the time that you don't have to have stock. You can just take even your personal Scentsy, because if you are a part of Scentsy, you love Scentsy, right? And you have Scentsy products that you can take to an event. You do not have to have stock on hand to do an event. Go set up a small, cute table at an event and just take orders. And if you're not taking orders, then you can set up like a raffle box and have raffle sheets. So everybody that passes by your table, even if they're not buying something, you can connect with them in some way. Raffle entries are a huge way to gain new customers. So they used to sell these in the Scentsy store, but I think if you go on Pinterest and just look up Scentsy event raffle entry, it'll pull up like a raffle thing, and it just collects their information. It asks how interested that they would be in hosting a party or joining Scentsy or placing an order. And then you just say, oh, thank you so much, I'm going to enter you into my drawing. And guys, it could be a drawing for a sample pack. It could be a drawing for a Scentsy bar. It could be a drawing for a scent circle. You don't have to tell them what the drawing or the raffle is for. You literally just want to be able to collect that information so that you can follow up and contact them later. You do not need a huge stock to do events. Another thing is, a lot of times people will do events and nobody shows up and they get super sad and they say, oh my gosh, that event was such a huge waste of my time. Why do I do events? Events are not for sales. That's not what events are for. So if you're going into an event and you're expecting to make thousands of dollars, you're going in with the wrong mindset. Events are to meet new people and grow outside of your circle. Even if you go to an event that has no people show up, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there on your butt and act all sad and pack up early and just be like, this is BS, and, have a really negative mindset? No, if nobody shows up, you're going to go around to every single vendor there, introduce yourself, talk to them, make friends. And not only are you going to make contacts with them, but you guys can kind of come together and give each other ideas on, say you're doing an event, you can text that person and say, hey, I'm doing this event. They don't have, somebody for what you sell yet. And then you can swap networking tips for events. So even if you go to an event and there's nobody there, you don't sell a dang dollar, you can still meet all of those vendors in that area and swap contacts so that you guys can share information with each other, and you might even gain a customer from it. I've gained team members this way a couple of times. Couple of events I've done that have had nobody show up. I have gone around and introduced myself to all of the vendors and made friends, and they've become customers or even team members later on down the road. So no event that you go to is going to be a complete flop unless you go into it with a crap mindset, thinking that the only reason I'm coming here is to make money today. The reason that you're going is to meet new people, not necessarily to sell things. Okay, so flip your mindset on events a little bit. So fundraisers, parties, events. Number 4 is open houses. Open houses are another thing that I freaking love so much. I haven't gotten to do one in a couple of years, which makes me sad. I don't have local customers anymore as much. When I lived on a military base, I had like so many local customers, and I would be able to do these huge open houses. My open houses were always extra because I'm an extra human being. So I would always put a lot of time and work and energy into my open houses. But again, just like with events, you don't have to go crazy and spend a bunch of money and have a bunch of stock to have open houses. Just make them fun, make them worth people showing up and coming. Things that I would do, I would have, snacks and drinks for them when they came. If it was around Christmas, I would do free gift wrapping for them. They would, a couple Christmases, I did a food drive, and anybody that brought canned goods or food to donate was entered into a Scentsy raffle, and that went so well. We had so much to donate to the local food pantry, and it was amazing. But I just gave them reasons to come. I did stock sales sometimes, like if it was around Christmas, I would knock a certain percentage off so they could come and do their Christmas shopping. I would encourage them to bring a friend, and if they brought a friend, they would get an entry into my raffle. So I always did a raffle. I always did a raffle for something for them to win, so that if they came and brought a friend with them, they would get entries for however many friends that they brought. And that was a huge way for me to grow my circle, not only to keep my customers that I have locally loyal to me, but for them to introduce their friends to me as well. So I would do those. I think I used to do 3 open houses a year. I would do a new catalog open house every time. And that way I would set up, half of my house would be like the retiring 10% off stuff. And then the other part of my house would be the new stuff coming, and they could place orders for both. They always loved that. And then around Christmas, I would do like a customer appreciation where I would do like the gift wrapping, the food donation, and just kind of spoil them a little bit with Christmas treats. And we would have a hot chocolate bar, and they always loved that. So open houses are a great way. Again, you don't have to go crazy. I mean, you could even just make up cute little samples to get, my customers always love that too. At Christmas, I would say like the first 10 people to get to this open house on time get a free gift. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was a sample pack or like an ornament that I made out of washer whiffs, and people would be fighting each other to get to my house on time. Like people would be standing outside like 20 minutes early waiting for me to open the doors for this free gift that they were getting if they showed up to this open house. Like, and it was just a sample pack. So open houses for your local customers, love on them, spoil them, make them feel special, and they will bring their people to you. And that's a great way to grow your circle as well. Number 5 should be a no-brainer, but I think a lot of us overthink like meeting people. Well, meeting people in general is scary. Like it still scares the crap out of me. But to grow your network, you just need to be making new friends, right? Like, and I'm an introvert. I'm an introverted extrovert, so I'm weird. Like I'm a weirdo, but I know it's hard to meet new people, but utilizing your interests to meet new people. And what I mean by that is joining Facebook groups for things that you love. So a couple Facebook groups I've joined recently. I'm in, I buy these monthly book boxes and they have a Facebook group. So I joined that Facebook group and I've been interacting with people. What else have I done lately? Talk to people when you're out running errands. Like the other day I was in Buckles shopping for some clothes that I'm going on. And the lady at the counter, she was so sweet. Like I just started talking to her and we really hit it off. And I didn't say anything about Scentsy. I didn't make it about Scentsy. And at the end of the day, it's not about Scentsy. It's about human connection and it's about making friends, right? You shouldn't go into any relationship just thinking like, oh, one day they're going to be my customer. No, that's just a nasty way of thinking. It's human connection, right? So her and I hit it off and I said, hey, I'm new to the area. I've been here 2 years, but COVID has made it hard to meet people, right? I said, if you're ever looking for somebody to like go out and grab drinks, here's my number. Gave her my number. She texted me that night and we've been texting ever since. And I think maybe by the 4th day, she asked what I do. And I said, oh, I didn't even shove Scentsy down her throat. I just said, oh, I work from home full time. And she said, oh yeah, what do you do? And I said, I sell Scentsy. And she goes, oh my God, I love Scentsy so much. I just bought a new house. I need to buy all the things. So it's literally just being a nice human. Like when you're out, talk to people. Like, I know it's hard. Like some of us, I say some of us, but me, I have a really bad RBF. So I try really hard when I'm out to like be aware of my RBF and make sure that I look like a nice, approachable person. But it's really just meeting people and the human connection, right? So talking to people when you're out running errands. One of my girls, I always use her as an example. She moves a lot too. She's in the military, and I think she's so good at like when she moves to a new city, how to meet new people. She's so good at this. She'll like join a book club. She doesn't know anybody in this book club, so she'll go to a new book club by herself. And I think that is so brave. So freaking brave. And then she looks for like painting, like wine and paint nights, and goes to wine and paint nights by herself. And I just think that is just genius. Not only is it genius, but it's super brave. Like she's going to these places and putting herself outside of her comfort zone to meet new people. And it works so well for her. She does that as soon as she moves to a new place. And then she consistently goes to these wine and paint nights and goes to these book club meetings and meets new people. And I just think it's so awesome and it's so brave. The Nextdoor app is an app on your phone for local people. A lot of people don't know about the Nextdoor app. It's just like Facebook, where you have like local community pages. If you're not in your local community pages, join those too, because they're huge. People are constantly looking for Scentsy. But the Nextdoor app is on your phone, and it'll link you to all your people in your neighborhood. And I've had people on there ask for Scentsy. And I know I'm not the only Scentsy person in this neighborhood. Y'all, I live in Texas, and we're probably the most saturated, if saturated ever existed. It does not. Saturation does not exist. But if things were to be saturated, that would be Texas, because everybody in Texas sells Scentsy, right? But like on the Nextdoor app, I guess I've never come across another Scentsy consultant on there, but people are constantly asking for Scentsy on there. So I just pay attention to the Nextdoor app, and I'm like, hey, I got some Scentsy. What do you need? And I do porch drops. So the Nextdoor app is huge. I'm a big, I wouldn't say a big video gamer. I have a handful of video games that I really like. So The Sims, I play The Sims all the time. And well, I wouldn't say all the time. I go through bouts of being obsessive compulsive over Sims, and I'll play it for like a week straight. Like I don't even sleep, play it. And so I'm in some groups for The Sims. Last year during the pandemic, when Animal Crossing came out on the Nintendo Switch, my husband got me that for my birthday. That was a game that I was obsessed with when I was a kid. And I played that freaking 24/7 for like 3 months into the pandemic. Well, I just posted about it on Facebook, and I was like, hey, who's playing Animal Crossing? And I connected to a bunch of people that were playing Animal Crossing. We became friends on Animal Crossing. It actually reconnected me with somebody that I went to high school with, and she was my customer, but like we were friends, but not like talking all the time. You know, she was my customer, and we had a good relationship. Well, we started playing Animal Crossing together, and she was talking to me about how her boss was just garbage and treated her like crap and all this stuff. And I told her, I'm like, that's why I could only ever work for myself, because the only person that can be a bitch to me is me. Like, it's the best being my own boss. And I just, was talking to her about, well, if you hate your flipping job, that's not the only option that you have, And she ended up joining my team last year, and she's going to be a director very soon. And she just quit her job last week because her boss is trash. But so I mean, I met her through a flipping video game. Come on. Like, it's literally just taking what you're good at, what you love, and utilizing it to your best interest. So utilizing your interest to your best interest to meet new people, right? It's about human connection. Like I said, it starts with meeting friends and making friends first, right? Never make Scentsy first, because that's just gross, and it shouldn't be that way. It's about making friends and meeting new people first, because we can all use new friends, right? Always. We can always use new friends. And then number 6, if you don't already, start a referral program for your customers. Mine used to be like super set in stone. I haven't ordered new postcards in a while, so it's not set in stone. It used to be something like, refer me a new customer who places an order, get a free 6-pack of bars. Refer a person to host a party for me, get a half off item. Refer somebody that joins my team and get $50 product credit, I think is what I used to do. And I had these on postcards that I would put in every order. I haven't ordered those postcards in a while, because like I said, I don't have local customers, so I'm not bagging up orders. I send stuff in the mail, but my customers know that I do that I do referrals. And they know because of word of mouth. So I have a VIP group. And again, if you don't have a VIP group, you better get one. I love my VIP group because it's just, I just love my VIP group. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, you notice I don't post too much like salesy stuff about Scentsy all the time, because that stuff happens in my VIP page, and then I funnel people into that VIP page. But that is where my most important customers are. And so what happens is, when they refer a new customer to me, so say they add somebody to my VIP group, and then that person places an order, I will send a small gift to the person that referred them to me. And then when they get the gift, I'm like, hey, could you post that in my VIP page? And so I'll tell you the most recent one that just went out. somebody referred somebody to me that placed like $100 order. And then she also ordered like 3 scent crates from me. Those are my monthly boxes that I do. So I sent her a box and it just has like, this was all stuff I had on hand. So again, it doesn't have to be crazy, but it's just I 3 bars. You'll notice they're scent of the months, and like a little owl thing that I got at the Dollar Tree, and some cheap candy. And so she got it in the mail, and I said, hey, do you mind posting in my VIP page? And she said, wow, I got a nice surprise in the mail just for referring my bestie Heidi to Caitlin. Caitlin, thank you so much for my very special surprise. So from word of mouth, that is my referral. Everybody in my VIP group knows that when they refer a customer to me, they're going to get a cute little box of stuff in the mail. And it just depends on how much their friend orders. Her friend ordered upwards of $200, so she got a pretty hefty referral gift. But like I said, it could be a bar and a scent circle, or just a scent circle and a sample pack. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but if you don't have a referral program, definitely get one started now and stick to it. And whenever you send your referral gifts to your customers, make sure that you're asking that they post it on Facebook, because that is how it just drives me nuts when my customers don't post. Like when I do my scent crates, I have inside the scent crate box that says share and post, and share a picture and tag me on Facebook. Anybody that you refer to buy a box gets you $5 off your next box. And I don't have a cap on that. So like, say they post a picture of a box and 6 of their friends want it, they're going to get a free scent crate from me. But it's so funny the amount of customers that think I just mean post a picture in my VIP page. And I'm like, no, guys, like, no, post this on your wall. So make sure you're asking your customers to post for you, because they're not necessarily thinking, oh yeah, this helps her business. But if you don't have a VIP page, you don't have a referral program, get one started. That's the best way to get yourself into your customer circles, because they're not really thinking like, oh yeah, my consultant's great, I should be telling everybody. Sometimes they will, but sometimes they don't really think about that. But yeah, those are my tips. I don't know if I hope I covered 20 minutes at least.
You did. I think like 20,
good.
I think like 25-ish.
Hey, good. Does anybody have any questions? I wasn't watching the chat, because if I watch the chat, I get very squirrely.
The chat was just me recapping things you were saying.
Okay, perfect.
If anybody has questions, I muted everybody, so you're going to have to unmute yourself to ask it. No, nothing.
I hope that was helpful.
That was a lot of really good information. I will say,
I was talking fast because I wanted to fit. I didn't want to talk the whole hour.
Because I recorded it.
Are you?
So we can re-listen. Yes.
Are you gonna post that tomorrow?
The recording? Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, because Hannah was watching, my teamie was watching, but our baby daddy wouldn't stop talking. So she said, I'm not gonna be able, because that's my son's stepmom. But she's like, I'm gonna have to rewatch it, and she's gonna like go over it with me.
Yes, ma'am. I will be posting it tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Upload it and share it to the team page.
Awesome.
I'm glad she hopped on though. So that was lots of good information. If you guys come up with questions after tonight or when you're rewatching, don't hesitate to ask. I will send me messages. I'll ask Caitlin. I'll cover all of it, whatever. You can probably bother Caitlin, but she's busy. Yeah. So don't super bother her, but she's pretty nice. She's pretty chill. But Caitlin, thank you very much for coming on and sharing with everybody. Because that was lots and lots of really good ideas. So if you guys don't have any questions, that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we'll be back to regular programming in the team page tomorrow. So you're ready to be annoyed by me once again. Love you guys.
Good night.
Good night.